Is you ready, my brother? Step up to this mic and let's get it.
Make some noise for Domes, y'all. Make some noise.
Hey everybody, my name's not Doms. It's Domes. What is it? Domes Gage is dope, but like...
That boy is good.
What's up, guys? Domes Gage here, and we're back. Might be late, hoping I'm not late. I wasn't late last week. Well, I was late, but I still made it on Monday. Anyway, we're back. Another episode of Off the Dome with Domes Gage. Episode 7, I believe. Episode 7. And, we're back. Thank the Lord. In last week's episode, sheesh, man, these episodes have been rough, huh? These episodes have been a rough saga of my health issues that I'm just getting fucking sick of talking about. And that's why here we are on Monday. It's actually pretty early in the morning, and I usually get these episodes up around noon on Monday. At least that's when I want to get these episodes up. And so I usually record them the day before, but I've been having all this fucking shit going on. And yeah, I just haven't been into it, been able to sit down and do it. So here we are, Monday morning, recording this episode with hopes that I'll get it uploaded today. And I need to stop doing that. I need to stop waiting till the last minute to record these episodes because then I'm rushed trying to get everything done and uploaded, and then I miss little edit errors and upload it still because I didn't watch it before I fucking posted it. But anyway, so yeah, hopefully we're not late. Hopefully we're right on time. But because last week I didn't post the episode until like fucking 8 o'clock at night or 7. It was pretty late, and I almost thought maybe I should just wait until the next day and post it, around noon at the regular time. But every Monday, that's what I say in these episodes, every Monday. So we're gonna keep it up. So, yeah. If you guys have been following the last few episodes, or for the people who have been following the last few episodes, I suppose, still going through it with these health issues. So I had a show last week, and so last week I was talking about doing this show and kind of worried that I wasn't going to be able to, pull through or give my best performance and all that because I was, dealing with these health issues. And I made it through the show. I had a good time at the show. I guess we'll just recap the show real quick because I'm really over talking about these health issues, and I'll just, we'll just put them to the side for now. But so yeah, this past Wednesday, I opened for Apathy and Self-Titled at Ninja Karaoke here in Las Vegas. And the more that I was posting that, I was like, oh, it kind of sounds like I'm doing karaoke, but I'm not. It's just what the venue's called. But anyway, yeah, so I opened for Apathy and Self-Titled, and it was a really cool show. First time I've ever been to this venue. It was a really cool venue. The stage was outside. I think I said last week I was going to try and get footage and put it in this podcast, but I did not get footage, unfortunately, because I was not A1. I was not, my full self. So the day of the show, I think I'd been feeling better. Like I was getting slightly better, but I still felt like I was having, some swelling issues in my, neck, and I was having a hard time, just catching my breath right, and so I started taking some more allergy medication, which the last week I said I was taking those Benadryl and they were just fucking making me a zombie and knocking me out. And so I wanted to take something that wasn't going to do that, but also fucking help the shit that I was going through. So I started taking the Zyrtec, which is like the other shit that the doctor prescribed me, and which is just more like over-the-counter medication, allergy medication, and that at least didn't like knock me out completely. It still didn't make me feel great, but I felt like it was helping with the swelling and all that situation. So I took one of those the day of the show, and I felt like that kind of got me through. And I managed to pull through. I think I had a good set. I fucking, I had fun performing, even though I was a little out of it, and I was a little I'm usually more like put together in between songs. Like when I do my sets, I like to kind of segue the next song with a little not speech, but I'll say a couple words, talk a little bit to just kind of transition into the next song. And while I was doing it, I was just drawing a fucking blank this last week, and I just felt like my mind wasn't sharp because of all these things that I've been dealing with. And it is what it is. I made it through. I guess that's the positive here. I made it through the show. So yeah, made it through the show. I opened the show. I was the first person to perform, which is a difficult slot. It's hard to be the first person performing and to get the crowd into it, to get the crowd to switch from, all right, the crowd's just hanging out, to now you're watching the show, especially when the crowd doesn't really know who you are as an opening act. It's a difficult spot. So I don't know. I think I did my best, and there was a couple people that were into it. And yeah, I don't know. Just it's hard for me to I was like out of it a little bit. So it's hard for me to be the most positive about it, I guess. I don't know. No, I'm being positive about it. I had a good show. I got through. I had a fun time performing. The venue's really cool. The homie there is gonna probably book me for another show coming up that I'm really excited about. And yeah, I sold a shirt. Shout out to the dude that bought a shirt. He was upstage, or like in front of the stage, rocking out while I was doing my set. And he came up to me and asked if I had any albums for sale, which I don't have any physical albums. Unfortunately, we never made those. So he asked what I have. He's like, "What do you have?" So I'm like, "Fuck, I got t-shirts," and he bought one. So shout out to him. Also, my mother bought a t-shirt, which I don't know why I made my mother buy a t-shirt, but that's she was there and supporting, wearing my t-shirt. So shout out to you, Mom. Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about selling my mom a t-shirt. It's like those it's like there's rappers that talk about like, selling their mom drugs and shit. And I'm like, well, at least I wasn't doing that. Anyway, so yeah. Shout out to the homie that bought a t-shirt. Shout out to the people that came up and showed love after my set, or even that showed up in the first place to come watch me. There was a few people that showed up. KON showed up last minute, saw my last two songs, and me and him pretty much just bullshitted the whole night and was just making jokes about everything, and that's always a good time. So, so yeah, I had fun, and that was a nice, way of taking my mind off this bullshit for a little bit and kind of just, performing. And although I just felt like I didn't have the energy I usually have, I like to be really active on stage, and I felt like I wasn't I wasn't being my usual self. And now this is just like a whole fucking month-long ordeal of me not feeling like myself. And that's starting to get really frustrating for me. So after I did this fucking show, which I had a good time, whatever, the next day I think I was up really fucking late, so I just like slept a long time, and I'm still taking these this prednisone, just like a steroid pill, which is supposed to be helping with the swelling issues that I was having, but I don't know that that necessarily helped. I feel like the allergy medication helped more than that shit did. But so I've been taking this shit for fucking 10 days or some shit like that, and I have 4 more days of taking it. However, now this shit is bringing on other fucking side effects, and my feet are swelling up, and my fucking hips and lower back, and just it's just there's all sorts of other shit going on, shit that I just don't even want to get into because I'm tired of fucking talking about this shit. And I have a couple more days of taking this shit. If this doesn't fucking get better, then I'm probably back at the fucking doctor, back at fucking stupid fucking UMC Quick Care that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. That I don't have insurance, so that's where I'm going. I don't feel like I want to go to like a fucking emergency room. I don't think it's like that serious, but then again, I don't know, guys. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to fucking leave it alone because I'm tired of talking about it on this podcast. I'll stress out about it on my own time. I'm sorry for taking you guys on this journey with me for the last 4 episodes. Fucking A. Thanks for letting me rant because, yeah, you guys did not need to fucking listen to me talk about this bullshit. And, hello, camera. Do you want to do your job and film? And then we could just, have a good podcast because you do what you're meant to do and you fucking film, Mr. Camera. Oh. Yeah, sorry, guys. My camera's giving me a hard time. Ah, motherfucker! Now you're just fucking with me. Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge, where Domes loses his fucking mind. And you guys listen to me complain about health issues. So yeah, I'm just still fucking dealing with this bullshit after a month-long ordeal. Something that I thought I would be fucking, over with in a couple days, and here we are a month later, and it's just one thing after a fucking another. Every time I feel like I'm getting slightly better, something else fucking happens and sets me back, and now I'm just like, I'm frustrated, as you guys can fucking hear. And, yeah, the doctor, last time I went in there, he was like, well, I want you to see an allergist to see what you're allergic to. I can't pay for a goddamn allergist. Like, I don't even know where to find a fucking, I'm gonna have to do some Googling or something, but to find one that I can, like, possibly afford is, like, I don't know, man. This is just, whatever. Here I am saying I won't talk about it, then talking about it again, so. I gave my camera too much shit. Now it really doesn't want to keep filming. It's like, fuck you. You talking shit about me on your podcast? Let's see you have a podcast without me, you bastard. Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge with no fucking camera, huh? See how that works. All right. Let's hope it stops having a fucking meltdown before I do. Guys. Well, here we are, episode 7, Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge, best podcast in the world. Don't know what I was talking about. Oh yeah, the concert. God damn you, camera. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna not even worry about it. Fuck it. domesgage.com/shop for the merch. Hit it up, get you a t-shirt. Shout out to the homie that bought a shirt at the show, and shout out to everybody that showed love at the show. I have a couple shows coming up in October that I'm very excited about, and I think we'll probably get to those next week. I'll talk about them next week because, I don't know. I'm just hoping I can get fucking better and, like, really put my best foot forward for these shows because, it's kind of just, like, been a task to move around and even, like, I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah, guys. Another week of me really doing nothing that I want to be doing. Nothing of fucking significance. I haven't really worked on the EP. And I did do the show. So we're gonna just positives here. Positives. I did the show, sold the t-shirt. Some new people showed me some love. Gonna be booking another show at the venue. Anything else? What I've been coming up with, like, ideas for the EP. When I release the EP, I'm gonna do I've been coming up with, like, little promo video ideas and how I can go about doing stuff like that, little breakdowns and just more content surrounded around the EP to kind of promote it a little bit more. And those will be coming out, when the EP drops or, to promote it. So I guess I've been kind of planning that. I haven't really, like, been recording or fucking working on the music aspect of it like I need to be doing. But I guess thinking of the behind the scenes, because it's more than the music. You need to have your promo strategies mapped out sometimes. You gotta know how you're posting shit, what it looks like. You gotta have, like, when I do these podcast episodes, for the people that follow me on Instagram, they've been seeing I post, like, I'll take, like, a section from the podcast, I'll cut it down to, like, a minute, and then I'll put my little logo on there, and I'm making, like, little minute clips from this podcast to put on my social medias, because not everybody is seeing the whole episode of these podcasts. So putting, like, a little clip out there is just serving as more promotion, and it's also people might see the clips and they might start watching the podcast because they see that clip or whatever. And so yeah, just, like, the fucking internet is everything. All these artists are utilizing the social medias and shit. So I've really been trying to take advantage of getting creative with that. And so when I do start to roll out the new music, I have my promo strategies mapped out a little bit. And so I guess I've been working on that slightly, how I plan to go about putting this EP out. I definitely want to do videos for the EP, but that's another behind the scenes, like, I want them to, like, connect. I want them to have, anyway, I don't want to give too much away or fucking give my thoughts out, I guess, but maybe that's what this podcast is for. But I do want to do music videos for the EP. I just haven't really figured out exactly how we're going to go about that. Like, a lot of people are doing stuff these days where it's like almost a short film, and they'll use, like, clips from their EP or album as, like, the score, the soundtrack for the short film, and it'll play, like, a minute of the song, and then there'll be, like, a talking part. And I don't know, maybe that would be something fucking cool for me to look into. And that's just, like, I've had that idea, but I haven't really thought about it too deep until right now, and that might be fucking crazy. But I'd have to write something, and yeah, maybe I will. Who knows? Don't count on it yet. I'm not no fucking short film to accompany the EP. I can't promise that yet, but that would be a really cool thing to do. And I'm super into the idea of writing like a short film, or shit, there was a podcast episode where back in the day where me and KON were talking about doing a fucking movie or a short film. Like, it was something we really set out to, I don't know, I got super into just like the cinematography and the visual aspect and the writing aspect of creating something like a short film. Or we were talking about it a lot, actually, when we were doing the podcast, about starting to do like skits. I even wrote a comedy skit for me and KON to do, and we just never ended up recording it, never ended up filming it. But yeah, I totally wrote like dialogue for me and KON for a comedy skit because I was wanting to do like a short film or something, and we were trying to come up with ideas. And I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing in this sense, so how would I even go about starting something like that? Let me just write one scene. So I ended up writing like this fucking comedy skit or whatever. And yeah, we just never did it. But that's always something I've really been into, the visual aspect of things, and like doing something like cinematic like that would be fucking really cool. Like I used to do the Life of Me episodes, or, you know, I've always been pretty hands-on with the camera. Always edited a lot of our old videos, and now I'm starting to, like, even when I watch stuff, I'm like, oh, that was shot really well. That was a really cool edit. That was really well, it was put together really nice. And yeah, so I do want to get more creative with the visuals. And speaking of creative with the visuals, I watched the Travis Scott documentary. I watched the Travis Scott documentary that I wasn't shitting on a couple episodes ago. I just was talking about it. And I said I hadn't seen it yet. And I watched it. I watched it yesterday instead of recording this podcast like I should have been doing. I watched the Travis Scott documentary to have something to talk about on this podcast. But shit, man, I fucking enjoyed it. I really liked the Travis Scott documentary. From a visual aspect especially, because like I was just saying, I really want to do a documentary, man. Like just tying back into making a short film or whatever. Like, documentaries are something that I'm into and have always loved seeing the growth of an artist through, or seeing like the old footage comparing to the new footage. And there's a lot of that in this Travis Scott documentary. Some of my favorite scenes was just edited from, like, it would be like Travis Scott holding his daughter, then it would flash an edit to Travis Scott's mom holding him while he was a baby. And it's like little simple edits like that capture so much like nostalgia in it, and so much like emotion and feeling within a 2-second edit. And they were doing that a lot, and they were done really well. There was a couple times where that happened. And yeah, I really want to do a documentary one day when it's all when shit starts to when it's worth it, when there's a bigger story to tell, I guess. And I don't know how much old footage I have of me as a child, probably not much, but that's why I'm trying to capture footage now, because this is the process, this is the journey. And all these shows and studio, me sitting in this fucking studio talking to the microphone, this is all the process. So we're capturing it now, so in 5 years when I decide to do a documentary, I have shit to pull from. But even if, like, I don't know what this seems like, his documentary, he was like showcasing just the last like few years, and that's like a cool thing to me. It's like, or I've seen documentaries like the Dreamville documentary that I talked about in maybe the first episode, or there's a few J. Cole documentaries that are really, really dope, and they're just surrounded around creating a certain album. And the Travis Scott documentary was surrounded around him creating that Astro World, which super fucking creative, dude. Like visually there's a part in there like he's super the one thing I give him a lot of respect for is he's super hands-on with the visual aspect of it and his creative direction with his visuals. There's a part where he's like cussing out the fucking people, like the stage people that are like supposed to be lighting up his fucking roller coaster on stage, and the way he's, you know, getting his camera shots done. And he's got a pretty famous line about kicking a cameraman off of kicking a cameraman off of the stage because he didn't like how he was taking pictures of him. He didn't like how he was snapping the angles. And so he's super like picky with the way he wants his the way he wants his image captured and the creative direction behind that. And I think that's really tight that he's super hands-on with that. And he's like telling the people, you know, oh, I need the lights this way. The way you're filming it like this way is lame. You got to do it this. And, you know, that's a whole different aspect to being an artist, that he's a lot more hands-on than just like making the music, I guess. And then, of course, I love all of the studio session footage, man. Like that's anytime I can see an artist in the fucking studio making a song, that's just inspiring right there for me. And especially some of these songs, it seems like he was like, there's one part where he has like the two blankets set up in the middle of the house. Then he's got like a blanket over his head, over the mic. He's recording into it. It just seems like the weirdest setup, but he's like making it work. And that was so fucking tight to me. And he's like recording Sicko Mode. There's a part which is a huge fucking song now. And he's putting like no effort at all into recording these vocals. And then Mike Dean comes around, slaps a mix and some auto-tune on there. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's like seeing even that, like a huge song, like seeing what goes into the song being made is inspiring to an artist like myself. And yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff I think I took out of that documentary. And I wasn't shitting on it the couple episodes ago. I was just saying the clip where it shows, you know, what can happen in 5 years, and then it pans around and fucking Mike Dean is already Travis's you know, DJ and producer and engineer. I'm like, it helps to know that person, you know? But I was even saying in the episode that I can't take away anything that Travis has done. He definitely didn't sit on his ass for 5 years and make this shit happen. So he definitely made the music, and he just had help, man. It helps to have a team. So I can't knock him for having the team. All I can say is I don't have that team, but maybe that's my fucking bad. Maybe I need to get a damn Mike Dean on my team, which is easier said than done. But yeah, so no, and just Travis, his fucking fan base, like that documentary just shows how wild his goddamn fan base is, and that's so tight as an artist to see, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do, is build a fan base that's gonna fucking you know, sell out these arenas and support what the hell we're doing. And yeah, that was cool to see. I was writing down a couple things so I could fucking try and remember parts about it. But yeah, there was like a couple clips, just that like nostalgia effect got me. And you know, with his parents and shit, there's one where it's like his dad is filming him play drums when he's a kid, and he's just all fucking hyped over him, and then it edits to him, Travis maybe selling out something, and he's just talking about how proud he is and stuff like that, man. I'll just fucking, that should have just get you, dude. That should have tugs at the heartstrings. And yeah, stuff like that. There's a part where Travis goes back to, I want to say his high school, or maybe I kind of missed what was going on there, but he's like there with his high school principal and counselor, so that makes me think he's at his high school. Yeah, I think he goes to talk to the kids at the school or something. So there's a part where he's like saying, oh, this, counselor really like fucking helped me get through school and I wouldn't have been able to pass without her. And then the principal's all hyped on Travis. And then his mom looks at the principal and says that the principal called her and said that your son is going to be something big. And then here, all these years later, his son's like, fuck, her son's a superstar. Then his mom gets all emotional. And just that, I was like, damn, dude, that's like a crazy like moment to have captured on camera. But also like if in my sense, my school didn't give a fuck about me. I'm like, at least his school was like, he had a counselor that cared and was like, oh, you're fucking up. Like, yeah, we're gonna, we're gonna fucking turn this shit around and get you to pass or whatever. And then the principal's a fan of his music and is like, no, he's gonna be something big one day. My school was like, man, you're gonna fucking die or be in jail because you're a fucking drug addict who smokes weed at 13. Like, you're gonna you don't have anything going for you. You're fucked is what essentially my school told me. And that's why dropped out. Dropped out in 8th grade because my school system failed me, and I'm gonna just blame it on that because they decided they don't want to fucking help you. And seeing that, I was like, damn, that's really awesome. Travis showing love to his school and how much the counselors helped him and shit. And I was like, I will definitely not be going back to my school in my documentary. Definitely not. Also, I don't even have like a school I can claim. I was fucking kicked out and in and out of so many schools. I was a bad kid, all right? I was definitely a handful, and I was an asshole little kid. So I don't blame the teachers for saying I was gonna fucking end up a pile of shit. But, I'm sure they had people that they thought were gonna be fucking star students that are way worse off than I am right now. So yeah. Anyway, that's my rant on the school system. And I don't know why I thought that was funny, seeing him at his school. But yeah, any like all the stuff with his parents and just, the nostalgia of seeing him as a kid to now, like even the whole Astroworld thing. I didn't know that was like the Six Flags amusement park in his hometown when he was a kid that got closed down. And he was like, I didn't even fucking know that. That's way fucking creative. Like, so I'll give it to him, man. It made me respect Travis a lot. Like, I've never been the hugest fan of him. I do like his music, and I think he's talented as fuck, but this made me like really respect, just his artistry, his creativity. Yeah. And I was giving him shit like Mike Dean does everything for him. And that's not necessarily true. He's just definitely getting help with it. But you can see in this documentary, he's recording a lot of the shit himself under a fucking blanket with the microphone. I feel like he's putting on a lot of these vocal effects, and he's doing, he has a big hand in production. He just has people to help him out. And I can't fault the dude for that. So he was put into this situation. He made something huge out of it, and respect to you, Travis, because you'll fucking definitely hear this podcast. Yeah. So cool documentary. It's well put together. Very well shot, like visually, and just I enjoyed it. Had a good time watching it. Did I have a good time watching it? I don't fucking know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And yeah, so the Astroworld thing and the fucking roller coaster at his concert. Now that's another thing I'm going to take. His fucking concerts are insane. He's coming in on flying fucking mechanical birds of some sort. And he's standing on it and rapping. I'm like, yo, I fucking, you know, and then he's got a roller coaster that he literally goes on. And I'm like, is he going on a roller coaster every concert? I'm like, dude, I don't even like roller coasters regularly at all. There's no way I'm hopping on a roller coaster that they just built for my concert every night. There's no fucking way it's happening. So, you know, I want to do crazy shit. Like I'm excited to see where I can push my performances to and what kind of shit I can get away with. But roller coasters and flying objects, I just don't know that I'm here for it, dude. That shit looks so dangerous. I'm like, yo, fucking roller coaster. I don't like roller coasters at all. So yeah, probably won't be seeing me with the roller coasters at my concert. But shit, respect to him, dude. Shows how fucking crazy that fool is. Just like, yeah, I'm gonna do a fucking roller coaster loop every concert. That's how I get people excited. Also, you probably get pretty fucking dizzy. Probably all fucked up, like fucking partying and drinking and shit, and you go on the roller coaster, you're like, what the fuck's going on? But yeah. Also, auto-tune mics are insane. That's a crazy thing. That's with all these artists nowadays that they're so heavily vocal, you know, their vocals are so heavily affected. And Travis has a very specific vocal sound that it's not just like a normal auto-tune. He has a very specific like preset that he goes to use on a lot of his songs. And it makes sense that when he's performing live that those effects are on the microphone. But that's just crazy to me. Like, you know, I've heard it before too with other people that have the effects in the microphone. And I'm like, man, that has to be such a luxury for these bigger artists, because as a little upcoming artist opening act, we don't get no effects. We're straight dry mics, and the sound guy or the DJ doesn't know or care what the fuck we're doesn't know what he's doing and doesn't care what the fuck we're doing. So it's like, hey, turn me up, turn me down. And yeah, anyway, the luxury of having fucking reverb, delay, and auto-tune on your microphone has to be fucking sick, dude. Not having to worry about, I don't know, fucking up your performance and being all off-key and shit. But, yeah, that's shit. I would use it too if I had like I'd use slight amounts of auto-tune, and even the way I use it, people wouldn't be able to tell. People have this weird stigma of auto-tune that they're like, when they hear it, they think of a certain sound, like T-Pain or something, and I use it very minimal to where it's like hard to even notice that it's there. But if it cleans you up in certain parts for the final record, yeah, I'll put it on there. But I don't have it on my microphone when I'm performing live, and maybe I would. Maybe if I had the option to, maybe I would. And maybe, I don't know, whatever. I just thought that was crazy. He's got the vocal effects going through the mic and shit. And his vocal effect got copied by so many fucking people after. So that just shows, like, you know, his influence on a lot of these newer artists. And yeah, I did not mean to fucking take the last however long talking about how great Travis Scott is. I was just, you know, I'm still not like the hugest fan. I've probably heard one full album from the guy, and it was Astroworld. I've heard like, you know, a handful of other songs, but so I'm not about to say I'm the hugest fan, but I did respect, I did like that documentary, and it did give me like a newfound respect for him. So, yeah. I like the title. Look, Mama, I Can Fly. That's hard. It was cool. Whatever. And shit. Best podcast in the world. Best podcast in the fucking world. Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge. So yeah. that was pretty inspiring. That just made me want to make more music and want to be more creative. And maybe that had me thinking like, oh, I need to do some visuals. I need to do some, because when I used to do the Life of Me stuff, those were like my little mini documentaries. But I've always wanted to like I've always wanted to take out like a month or 3 months or whatever, make a project within those 3 months and document the whole thing, or make a project in 1 month and just document the whole thing, because I don't have like footage from me recording this EP like that. I maybe have like it's stocked up somewhere, but it's not like, the process of making this EP. And that's something I want to do because, like I said earlier, that's just super inspiring for me as an artist to watch another artist in the studio making their songs. So I know for any artist that is watching me, that's inspiring. And it's also just cool to see the fucking behind the curtain a little bit. And yeah. So yeah, guys. Well, I don't really know where to go from here. I feel like I had something else to fucking talk about. But, I'm just kind of fucking stressing these whole health issues and just all this dumb shit I got going on that my head's not fucking working right today. And that's off the dome with Dome's Gauge. Sometimes the dome is on, sometimes it's off. How many bad, like, off the dome puns can I make? I'm on episode 7. I feel like I'm running out. Oh, shit. I feel like I'm running out. I had a clip. I watched a Chance the Rapper interview, and he was... I guess we could talk about that for a quick second. He was talking about the difference between mixtapes and albums, and I know I was maybe talking about that on a previous episode. And he had an interesting take on it because, I put out my first, Old Soul and a Young Body is what I call my debut album. But also, by the time I'm actually a successful artist in the industry and have a buzz around me and I put out my first project, they're going to say that's my first album. So, I don't know. There's a big debate between what's the difference between a mixtape and an album. And I watched Chance the Rapper's interview on Big Boy's Neighborhood. Shout out. You guys, all fucking, don't flag me for copyright. All rights go to y'all. But, all right. Here we go.
There's certain people that and there's way more, obviously, but, like, people that, like, actually know my family that I'm cool with, and I've known for years. When I was putting out my mixtapes, a lot of different people that were my friends used to, at different times just complain about their relationship with their label, right?
Right.
One of the big issues that a lot of people had was in terms of content that was in their contract that they had to produce. They had to put up a certain number of albums, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem was they would come up with this content and release it, and the labels would deem it a mixtape or an EP or a project that did not count towards their contract.
Wow.
So one of the biggest differences between mixtapes and albums, post, artists deciding what that meant, was labels deciding what counted towards their obligation and what didn't. And so when I was dropping mixtapes, I realized that a lot of my friends were dropping albums, but they were getting called mixtapes.
Wow.
Not because of them, but because of their their label. And I think for me, one of the greatest freedoms is getting to choose what I think my music is at a given time. You know what I mean?
Well, that's pretty crazy. that there's record labels that sign you to these deals that, you know, on some of these deals you have to make 5 albums or 3 albums or whatever the case is, and you're like, here you go, here's my album, and they're like, nah, this is a mixtape because we still want you to make 3 albums for our record label, for our company. That's crazy. That's a crazy fucking aspect on it. And so Chance is an independent artist, so he's saying, you know, I get to choose what's a fucking album and what's a mixtape. So yeah, I don't know. The lines are super thin these days with what the difference is between an album and a mixtape. But that's crazy that's an extra layer to it. Like, I didn't even think about the technical. I was just thinking about it from the, like he said, the artist standpoint of it, of what we determine it to be, and the music itself that's being put on there, or the concept of the album, or whatever, for us to call it an album, or the length of song, whatever the criteria is for it to be an album. That still, if you're signed to a record label that wants 5 albums from you and you give them one and they say this isn't an album, this is an EP, because we still want you on our fucking record. We still want you under contract for 5 albums. That's insane. So, yeah, I would love to be able to do this shit independent for as long as I can. There's huge artists, Tech Nine, Chance the Rapper, that have taken the independent route. Like, I remember seeing a Tech Nine interview where he was talking about maybe signing a deal for a good amount of money, a partnership or something. And him and his partner were just like, if we keep doing this in 3 to 5 years, that will be a small number to us. And so, yeah, there's, you know, being an independent artist has benefits like that, is now you own all of your shit, but also it has, you know, the negative effects of you have to do all of the shit yourself, and figuring out how to do that is fucking difficult, man. And that's kind of the boat I'm in right now, is trying to figure out how to take the music and take the product and really turn this shit into a business, and really turn it into something real. And it's all a process. It's all a learning process. So yes, I feel like I had more to like add on what Chance was saying when I saw that clip. And I saw that clip a couple of days ago. Forgot I was going to talk about it. Don't remember what I was going to say about it. Anyway. Because I can't remember how I even got brought into that conversation a few weeks ago. It was probably me talking about working on this EP and maybe wanting to do a couple smaller projects before I go and do album 2, my follow-up to the first album or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not signed on a fucking label, so anything I do, I get to pick. I get to say, this is an EP, this is an album, this is a, you know, whatever it is. This is a fucking collection of songs this is a group of songs that you guys are going to listen to in order and as a whole. All right, guys. I think that's about it on my list today. I hope I didn't talk too much about my fucking health issues. I kind of said, like, don't talk about it that much because I'm fucking over it. But yeah, it's just been a rough month, and I can't believe this is still fucking going on, and I'm still having issues with this shit. And yeah, just like I said earlier, a month of not feeling like myself is weighing on me. And so here I am recording this podcast, trying to be somewhat productive, trying to uplift my spirits. Hopefully I uplifted some of your guys' spirits as well. You know, that's what this podcast is. It's really spiritually uplifting. It's really really talking some inspirational shit over here at Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge. I feel like I did this whole episode on the fucking Travis Scott documentary, but that I didn't expect to like. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect to like it, and I fucking really enjoyed it, and I thought it was shot really well, and I thought it was just, I don't know, fucking cool. I'm down with, music documentaries. However, then Netflix suggested me the Chris Brown documentary, and I thought, I think I'm all right on this one. I think I don't need to watch that one. I think I'm all right. Just, it doesn't sound like whatever. So, yeah. Questions. Let's see if we have any questions. For this week. And then we'll just wrap this damn episode up. Because we're 50 minutes. We're getting close to an hour. I was blanking out at the start. I was having a hard time getting my thoughts together. My fucking brain, guys, it's just not working properly. Like, that's the thing when I was doing the show, last week, I'm like, usually pretty good at getting people into it, show some love, make some noise, blah, 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 whatever, put your hands up. And I was just like fucking drawing a blank. Like, why can't I get these people into it? Also, it's like a super like underground hip hop boom bap crowd. So there's a lot of, KON was like, this is a head nod crowd. This isn't a hands up, jump around crowd. This is a head nod crowd. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So. But anyway, guys, I'm hoping I'm on the up and up, man. I'm hoping, like, I do actually feel like my swelling area, like, I feel like that is pretty calmed down since I started taking the second allergy medication, like, before the show. I've been pretty straight since then, but now I'm just getting all these other side effects from this fucking other shit I'm on, and it's just one thing after another, and I'm trying to stay positive and fucking get over this shit, and I do feel like my voice is coming back, though. Like, even I did the show, when I did the show, I was noticing I didn't have my full voice, I didn't have my full breath control, I was out of breath, and I was just not like, my tone wasn't there, I just couldn't really like, it's like I was losing my voice the whole show, and I feel like I'm getting somewhat better in that department, and that makes me excited because hopefully I can get back to fucking re-recording these songs for this EP and getting that all finished because that's a priority. That's a big thing that I put on my list, put on my calendar, put on, made deadlines for, and I'm being forced to slack on it because of these health issues, but I don't want to keep complaining. I feel like I've been complaining for 4 episodes of this podcast. So we're not going to complain anymore, guys. We're just going to, roll with the punches. Roll with the punches. All right. Questions. Hot Dog Kisser, what you talking about this week? What the? Hot Dog Kisser asks, what's the biggest lie you've ever told and gotten away with? And if you got caught in the lie, how did it all go down? Hot Dog Kisser, I have no clue, dog. I'm a good boy. I don't be lying. Nah, I probably did like some scandalous fucking lies when I was a child. Like I said, getting kicked out of school and shit. I was probably lying my ass off to the principals and the teachers and my parents. But yeah, dude, not as an adult and shit. I try and be a responsible human being. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Maybe I should look at these questions before answering them. I'm trying to think if there's anything that just sticks out that I was like fucking fronting on and then nah, dude, I don't. Anything at school, any like time I was a kid and got in trouble that I was like, my mom is probably listening like, oh, there's so many that she can think of and I can't think of any. It's a good thing. I blocked those memories out. Fuck, yeah, I don't know, dude. Caught in the lie. I'm not sure, dude. I'm not sure. Sorry, Hot Dog Kisser. I failed your question. Ask me 2 next week so I can definitely answer one of them. Because I'm blanking, bro. I don't know. And ooh, Rhea with the weed question. Shout out to her. Probably because I was talking about weed in my last podcast. Also, she says Legendary is on Apple Music, so that's fucking tight. That was a whole dilemma that we were figuring out. And she said it's there now, so go listen to Legendary on Apple Music. Bit of an older song now, but around 20, like after I put out the album when I was doing a lot of shows, Legendary was one of the first ones I made with the idea of I need to make a song. I need to make shit for these shows. You know, I can't just be fucking sad and down all the time. I gotta have some bangers and shit. So Legendary is one of the first one I made like that, with that in mind. And now it's on, you know, for some reason it wasn't on iTunes and all that shit. Now it is. So, but she asks, indica or sativa? Real weed question. I feel like somebody asked us this on the Domes and KON podcast, although KON doesn't smoke weed. But shit, man, I like a little of both. I'm indecisive. Sometimes I like sativas because they don't make me as like fucking knocked out. They don't make me as tired. So I'll sometimes, like if I'm in the studio and I have a sativa, then yeah, sure, I can maybe get more work done sometimes. But then I feel like I need indica to like really go to sleep, and like I enjoy that as well. So I like a little of both, maybe a little hybrid, or you know. Here we go. Weed talk with Domes Cage. That's what this podcast has turned into. No, so yeah. I remember you know, on the Domes and KON podcast, we had the homie, we had a listener, shout out to him, that brought me a bunch of weed and was like, oh, you said you liked sativa on the podcast. And I was like, I did? I was like, I don't remember saying that. And he was like, yeah, you said you could get more work done and shit. And I was like, oh. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So apparently I said this on a podcast, and he brought me a bunch of weed, and that was awesome. So that's one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me, is somebody listened to me in KON's podcast, was like, hey, fool, I'm going to bring you a bunch of weed. I was like, hell yeah, dude. So shout out to him. I don't want to put his name on blast. I don't know if I should do that. He knows who he is. Anyway, so yeah, guys, I think that's about it. I think we'll wrap up the episode right here. Keep this one under an hour. Hopefully I can get it out in time. This will come out on Monday. Hopefully. I don't want it to come out like later than like 2:00. And now I'm like worried. Whatever. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed me ranting about absolutely nothing this week. Much like every week, right? So yeah, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Rate and review on Apple and all that. Make sure to listen to the podcast everywhere podcasts are available. Leave questions. Leave me more questions. I need more questions. You know, I rely on you guys for these questions every week to fill up some time on this podcast. And so, yeah, leave me questions in the comments below for me to answer next week. Or just any topics you might want to hear me talk about. They don't even have to be a question. If you have like, hey, I want you to talk about this, put that in the comments. Maybe I will. And so, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back next week. Yeah, episode 7 of Off the Dome with Domes Gage. Buck, anything to finish this episode? I'm going to give Buck a chance. Every ending of the episode, I'm going to give him a chance to talk. And if he doesn't talk, I'm just going to... All right, I'm just going to end the episode. We'll be back next week, guys. Peace.